Hey, welcome to the channel Do You Know? Today, the topic of our video is the human body and discoveries. The history of medicine is already several thousand years old. It is counted from the moment about which the first written information reached us, and these are the papyri of ancient Egypt. However, strictly speaking, it can hardly be separated from the history of civilization, because illness and injury. Scientists believe that in the days of hoary medicine, medicine was more of a sorcery, a mixture of magical beliefs with the hope of intervention of higher powers, and herbal medicine. The healer was a priest, because ultimately the health and life of a patient depended on his favor with the gods and how convincingly they, the healers, would appeal to them. In one of the Pyrenean caves, there is a rock image of such a Cro-Magnon healer, dressed in the skin of an animal with deer horns on his head. During this time, people were accumulating empirical knowledge about the properties of used plants and minerals. The knowledge obtained in this way is often erroneous, that is, those properties that it did not have were attributed to the plant, but there was also correct information. For example, the Incas discovered the tonic effect of cocoa beans, the healing properties of mate, and the narcotic effect of coca leaves. Such information was being accumulated, laying the foundation for future pharmacology. It should be noted that many of the discoveries of our ancient ancestors are used in modern medicine. Since then, many different discoveries have been made in this area. People overcame epidemics of plague, smallpox, typhus. Antibiotics, X-ray machines, MRIs were invented. It would seem that the human body is visible through and through. What other secrets can it hide? But not everything is so simple. For example, stem cells are one of the most promising treatments. In Germany and other countries, research and development in this area has cured many diseases that have so far not been conquered. But very few people are interested in tomorrow. How are things today? In many countries, cell therapy is used in the method of various diseases of the nervous system, musculoskeletal system, cardiovascular pathology, and oncological diseases. Do you know? There are more than 240 types of cells in the human body. All of them are descendants of one stem cell, the zygote, which is formed immediately after fertilization. It turns out there is another use for stem cells. This is the cultivation and transplantation of those organs that we could not even think of before. One of the most difficult and time-consuming processes in research is the study of the secrets of the human brain. Scientists have been using stem cells to grow tiny human brains for years in order to study the organ's development. Now they've grown one with actual, functional eyes. Amazing, isn't it? Brain organoids a mere 60 days after stem cell introduction. In a historic first, hundreds of brain organoids grown in petri dishes from donated human stem cells have sprouted symmetrical pairs of eyes. These rudimentary structures can not only sense the light around them, but send those signals to the rest of the organoid. The impact of this breakthrough is mind-boggling to say the least. As published in the Cell Stem Cell Journal, the study detailed just how consequential these results could be. Quote, "These organoids can help study brain-eye interactions during embryo development, model congenital retinal disorders, and generate patient-specific retinal cell types for personalized drug testing and transplantational therapies," end of quote, said J. Gopalakrishnan, senior author of the study. That is, humans begin to comprehend hitherto unknown knowledge. The process of making lab-grown brain organoids that generate light-sensitive sensory structures that mirror our own was undertaken by researchers at University Hospital of Düsseldorf in Germany according to New Atlas. These are the prototypes of human eyes. The stem cells visibly formed into brain cells by day 30 and matured into a tiny brain by day 50. Recent years have seen experts make enormous strides in understanding the human brain. In a testament to how truly complex it is, however, our knowledge of how the brain functions remains dwarfed by compounding questions. As such, scientists began growing these organs themselves to comprehensively study them. Can you believe this is possible? In the past, scientists have generally used these peppercorn-sized blobs to research brain development, how drugs affect the organ, and the origins of various diseases. And it was also a breakthrough in its time. Today, lab-grown brains are essentially made from donated human skin cells, which are then reverse engineered into stem cells and introduced to petri dish-based cultures, mimicking the environment of a developing brain. In this case, experts added optic cups to those brain organoids and saw the samples sprout a pair of eyes. It is simply impossible to believe it. The stem cells in the petri dish culture visibly evolved into brain cells within 30 days and matured into tiny brains with rudimentary eye structures by the 50th day. While that accomplishment mirrored the development timeframe of eyes in the human embryo, the more astonishing result was that these eyes could actually see. It's a miracle! The research team used 4 voluntary adult donors to create 314 brain organoids across 16 batches and found that a whopping 72% of them ultimately formed the optic cups. Remarkably, that yielded 226 brains with symmetrical eyeballs, all sprouted at the front where our optic nerves meet our retinas, just like in sci-fi movies. These primitive pairs held a wide range of retinal cell types and formed neural networks that were able to communicate with the brain, just like ours. Gopalakrishnan added that our mammalian brains instruct nerve fibers in the retina to connect with their brain targets, and that this has never been studied in the vitro before. But this is already a real achievement in research. Quote, "Our work highlights the remarkable ability of brain organoids to generate primary sensory structures that are light-sensitive and harbor cell types similar to those found in the body," end of quote, said Gopalakrishnan. This particular feat may allow scientists to focus on nascent eye growth within the embryo and potentially improve eye-related diagnosis. This already looks like a step towards the practical application of the discovery. Do you know? At birth in a child's body, one stem cell is found in 10,000 other cells. By the age of 20-25, there are 100,000 other cells for one stem cell. And by the age of 50, only one stem cell in 500,000 remains in the body. How many stem cells do you have? Please share in the comments. As for any concern regarding human consciousness being grown in the shadows, none of this rudimentary brain tissue has any thought or emotion, seeing as the organoids lack a prefrontal cortex. According to Science Alert, the primary goal is currently observing development without requiring a living person's brain to do so. Eye development is a complex process, and understanding it could allow underpinning the molecular basis of early retinal diseases, the study read. Thus, it is crucial to study optic vesicles that are the primordium of the eye, whose proximal end is attached to the forebrain, essential for proper eye formation. As it stands, the researchers are focused on keeping these sensory structures intact in order to more clearly research their lifespan and development. Upon garnering an informed grip on that, it appears that finding therapies for eye transplantation, new solutions to retinal diseases, and personalizing drug testing is next. And what do you think? Will medicine ever be able to realize one of the biblical miracles, the healing of a man born blind? What do you think? Write in the comments. Suggest your topics, write comments and your thoughts, and don't forget to like this video. Each of your likes, comments and channel subscriptions motivate us to make more interesting content and delight you. See you soon, friends!